What do you notice? All right, what do you guys notice?
When adding water to the,
It's going straight to gas. This is called
adding the
sublimation.
ice, the water that's hotter makes the
This is what they do
air
in witch
evaporate
movies
from
and
the cold
stuff.
ice.
Yeah, so this is like a lot of, like anytime you see the smoke or anything like that, that's what's doing it. And it doesn't hurt you, and it's not like messing anything up. No, go ahead. If it was immediately freezing that, what would have ended up happening inside the cup? Like what would the water have turned into?
Ice.
It would have turned into ice. So it still is water, you can see. And it's just a little bit cooler. What's happening is it's so cold. What does CO2 mean? Does anybody already know that? Carbon dioxide. Where does that usually come from?
Your mouth.
Your lungs. That's what we exhale. Okay? So what form is it usually in? It's usually a gas. So like right now, all the carbon dioxide that we're experiencing is in a gaseous form. This has been super cooled so that it's down to negative 78.5 degrees Celsius. And what ends up happening is it's a phase change. Which one is it skipping though? If this is solid and that's gas. It's skipping liquid. So whenever you have a phase change that skips over one of the other ones, it has a different name. So this is not actually, usually it's like vaporizing. So that's what happens when your liquid turns into a gas. It's called vaporizing. This is called sublimation, which means it skips the liquid form. Please don't.
No, I'm asking, like, would it hurt me?
Maybe, if you get it in your mouth. What it does is it immediately freezes the cells that it touches, and then those cells fall off.
So why didn't it freeze my finger?
Because you did it fast enough. It didn't have time to make the energy transfer.
So if I kept my
It's
finger
not
in
just
there, it
like
would freeze?
what?
Probably, but I don't want to find out. Okay, you don't have to volunteer this, but maybe at one point in time, you or a sibling or a cousin, an uncle, somebody, went to the doctor and had a wart frozen off.
Ew.
That's what they're
Nah,
doing,
sorry,
is they put the very cold thing on it, and again, you don't have to volunteer. You put the very cold thing on it, and what it does is it kills all of the cells that are infected by the virus.
I have a mosquito
And then it
bite.
falls off. Don't put it on the mosquito bite, although there was apparently a mosquito bite
Wait, so
problem at home today.
what if you said all the cells that touch it, it falls off? So
Miss Breckin, I guess in milk.
What?
So that's what happens, is it kills the cells immediately. So the other thing that's kind of dangerous about this, and the guy was very funny when I went to pick this up this morning. He's like, so there was a teacher at Everett High School who wasn't paying close enough attention, and 3 kids apparently ate some dry ice. And I'm like, what? So this was a while ago. Okay, so this is what I said. He's like, hey, they're kids. And I'm like, yeah, I know, I'm around them all the time. They're not stupid. I mean, they don't make good decisions sometimes, but come on. So he's telling you that. But then the other thing he told me was, a lot of times when commercial freezers break, so like if a restaurant's freezer dies, what they do to preserve the food is they'll just order a ton of dry ice and they'll stick it in there. And he did say that I had to sign the waiver that says I'm not going to die, or I understand that their death is a possibility. What is this giving off when it's turning into a gas? What kind of gas is it? It is CO2. So I guess some poor guy was fixing the freezer. They didn't know he was in there. They closed it with all the CO2 in there and left. What did the room fill up with?
Ice.
It filled up with CO2, and he basically suffocated. Okay?
That's
So-
like when you leave the stove on.
That's a different type of gas, though. That's like what we call gas. All
So I
right, we're
could
not the
breathe this
gaseous
in?
form. You can. It's just that you don't want to kill your oxygen supply too much, because then you'll pass out and then we'll have to deal with that. It is slowing down, so it must be getting smaller. All right. Okay. Can you please write down that our initial temperature for our milk is 13 degrees. Let's get cooking. 13 degrees Celsius, please. Angel, please do not steal electricity during the day during class. Please come on back over here.
we can
Unplug
put
it.
that on our table, right? We're still on time.
Huh?
We can put that.
Yes, so this is going to be your starting temperature. Can somebody,
I thought you said
13 degrees
23
Celsius. 23 is room temperature, so we want to keep that in mind. We're going to use like a cup full of sugar.
So 13 degrees Celsius.
13 degrees Celsius is what our milk is going to start at, and that's going to be like our starting temperature, okay? I think that's a cup of sugar.
So you do time over temperature.
We're going to do time and temperature. Would you please flip to the back side of that page? You're going to start to write your procedure.
Oh, what?
We're going to be writing this silently. We're taking some measurements. Remember, that's a part of your procedure, your data collection process. All right, Noe, for your benefit, I'll repeat that. We're going to be writing our procedure, and please remember that our data collection is also a part of our procedure. So I have already taken 13 degrees Celsius. I am going to put this thermometer in here. This is going to be interesting. I wonder if I can tape it. I need tape!
Keep them alive.
I need to preserve as much as possible. Because it sublimates all day long, I'm going to have to go put it in a freezer, but unfortunately I'm afraid that I just don't have time to run back to the store and get more. So I have to make sure that
What store did you get it at?
it's the dry ice place. It's right down the street. It's on
It's in
Cambridge
Charlestown?
Street.
And
No,
everybody-
How
it's
much
right
did
in
it cost?
Cambridge.
Anybody could buy it.
This was a $15 box because I used a credit card. It would be $14 if you pay in cash.
Wow, I'm saving money.
£6. I know. It was all for you guys. The guy was like, "Oh man, you're really," and I was like, "I know, it's for the kids. It's for the kids."
We have to eat that.
I mean, why would I make ice cream? I'll just waste it?
So you're
You
making
bought
like
cookie dough.
Right.
I mean,
You better share some. Share
you
your
know
experience.
this. How did it taste?
I didn't read that. I will
But
taste.
you did read enough to know. That, okay. Hi. You're like my kitchen help. Can you grab some napkins, please?
There's this store where they do the same thing, but it's like little things. And then when you bite down on it, you're able to blow out
You're
the.
gonna burn your
Oh, yeah?
yourself.
I don't think he will because I don't think. I mean, we can test the temperature in there and see what it is.
Oh, 78 degrees. 78 light or 78 degrees.
Okay, so our milk is starting at 13 degrees Celsius. I'm going to put this here. We're going to add some of this.
repeat that?
Our milk is starting at 13 degrees Celsius. There's a lot of you, right?
So I'm writing down, I'm adding some of this.
Okay. So I used a half a gallon of milk, which is 4 cups.
So how much?
Okay, oh shoot.
How much?
I added 4 cups of milk. I'm going to add another cup of sugar. I mean, who wants not sweet ice cream? I want not sweet ice cream, but
Is it gonna freeze my paper?
How many cups of sugar?
2 cups of sugar, 4 cups of milk.
Measurements are precise.
It was bubbling. The measurements are exact! Leo, when you get done with that, there's a box of vanilla in there, please.
Okay, so 2 cups of sugar, 4 cups.
2 cups of sugar, 4 cups of milk. What I'm afraid of.
Puny measure.
Hey, I'm just not turning it on all the time. I guess we'll take this to the outside.
Turn on maximum overdrive.
No, because then it splashes all over and
That'd be
I have a
fun.
problem.
That'd be hilarious.
That'd be funny. It's not.
It's in a little tiny
Get
box.
thicker.
That's actually fine.
Maximum overdrive.
I don't, it's in the bag, I'm sorry. There should be a little box with it.
It's gone?
Where that?
It melted?
Keep it in your hand. Hold it.
Yo, put it inside of a bottle and close it.
Put on your face.
Yo, put it inside of the bottle and close it. See what happens.
I'm going to add
Put it inside the
2 tablespoons of vanilla.
Huh?
Put it in the bag.
2 tablespoons of vanilla.
Listen, put it in the water. Put it in the water and close the bottle.
Wait a second. Do you see how you're not writing your procedure? Pedro is. I'm adding 2 tablespoons of vanilla.
Okay.
So there's spoons over there too.
This one.
Thank you. Yeah, you're the best.
Yo, leave it in there.
Oh, I forgot my apron. Darn
This is how
it.
it looks like?
But take the lid off or it's going to explode. No, let it
That's
explode.
why I told you.
No, do not let it explode. Did you see how it kind of poofed off? No, don't put it back on. And let's
How bad would that?
That'd
One,
make O's. That'd be a bomb, bro.
It makes O's.
Oh, that's vaping. That's vaping right there.
Is
Is that what hookah pen's made out of?
No.
so does everyone have their recipe written?
Yes.
We have 2.
There's better O's than me.
We have 2 cups of sugar, 4 cups of milk, 2 tablespoons of vanilla. Here's where the problem arises. The last time I did this was several years ago. And we you know, like you do the baking soda volcano when you're in like middle school? It became the baking soda volcano, which was kind of a problem. What happens? I'm sorry, can you stop doing that?
Put the lid on it.
It's good. Don't put the lid on it. Take it off. And just, can I have that please? Let's put that there. It's very interesting and very exciting. Alright, so what ends up happening, how do things turn into, what is it called when you're turning something in from a liquid into a solid? What do you have to do?
Condensation.
No, it's not condensation. It's not photosynthesis.
said what?
It is not freezing.
Wait, you said
Freezing
what was
is
the
going
question?
from a liquid to a solid.
Phase
Better
change.
What's the
Metamorphosis.
phase change when you go from a liquid to a gas? What's that called? It's evaporating, but how about if you make it happen, if you force it? How do you guys make noodles?
We cook it.
Thank you, you boil it. Excellent. So what ends up happening when we have this much colder, you guys, you just added carbon dioxide. It's just water now because all the carbon dioxide left.
It smells like alcohol though.
Does it?
Can I drink it?
No, it doesn't.
Well, ask her if you can drink it. She's not gonna let you drink it.
I think my hand smells a little bit like vanilla. Okay, so I've been mixing this for a while because I wanted the sugar to dissolve. Okay, so we won't have crunchy ice cream. When we take this and we place it into there, we're going to take something that's very cold, and what's it going to do basically inside of here in the liquid? It's heating up. Okay, good. So when that happens, it basically starts to boil. So that's why this becomes very rumbly. It's going to boil. I've boiled over several times when I've done this before. So we're going to try to prevent that from happening. The next part, no, then you have a milky mess all over my desk. It's a disaster.
You want a milky mess?
Okay? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to add some, and we're going to have to break it up.
Next thing you know,
This is a part of your process, so please make sure you're writing it down in your procedure.
what is that?
Let us say that we're going to add like half a pound of dry ice. That's going to be way too much. We're going to crush a half a pound of dry ice here. Put this around here so that we don't make any holes in the box. I'm going to put this back in my insulated bag.
Out of space.
We'll turn the page, honey. Engineering at its best. The bag of paper.
Good. You might want to use 2 bags if you hit it with a hammer.
Oh wait, we gotta get all the air out there. Oh wait, you know what?
It's not gonna happen.
No, just leave it open. Be destructive.
Can I hammer it?
Yo.
Whoa, okay, put the ice, not the table. You just want to give me that whole bag.
Crush it.
L.
Man, my apron. Today's home. I hope you're writing this part of your procedure down.
You gotta crunch up the ice, write it down. With the 200-pound hammer.
200 pound half.
200 half.
Does anybody have this Jaffe at another time of the day? Anybody have this Jaffe at cooking? Does anybody have this Jaffe?
Jojo does, but.
Alright, don't.
Grab an ice cream scoop for me right now.
Okay. Oh, okay, so apparently maybe we should double bag it. You're right, Manny, because this just ripped open on the other side, because it becomes, very brittle. So let's try this again. Well, hold on. Can we?
Rolling here,
Okay,
bro.
okay, you know what? That's fine. You know what? Maybe we should just crush it in here.
Who else? Hold on, I'm gonna go get my phone and write.
Is that a clean towel?
Yeah, I just pulled it.
This is what no one will go. It looked like.
You're right.
In the water or the sun?
Okay. Don't do that. Oh my God.
He said she got 10 straight.
Okay. Can you said it now 3 times.
Oh.
Okay. Hold on a second. Just leave those there.
Straight.